I hate insurance.
I'm with you, brother.
I tried giving everything. I try not to hate too much, but I just have always, and a lot of people are the same way. Today, we're going to talk about reasons that people hate different types of insurance. Some of those justified, some of those irrational, but we're going to also talk about reasons
Reframe it.
to think about ways that it's insured you. So,
Say your name.
I'm Mark McKay.
And I'm Marcy McKay.
And welcome to Sage Smart Solutions. Please join us weekly as we learn new and exciting ways to protect your assets and retire tax-free. Now, I do want to say that before we get into this too much,
Caveat.
we are going to kind of just talk about these things. I don't have a lot of statistics. If you're a math charts number and are ready to take a deep dive, please subscribe below to watch our Masterclass. It's 40 minutes long.
How to retire tax-free. It's good.
And you know what? All the clients that are participating in that strategy did not lose sleep the past 3 months as Bitcoin, NASDAQ, Dow, S&P 500, your favorite Dave
Stocks,
Ramsey
bonds,
mutual
yeah.
fund. Those things, they're going to leave you're short when it comes to retirement, and who knows what taxes are going to look like. Okay, back to insurance. Which one do we even want to take first? What's a type of insurance that, most insurance you kind of actually hate using.
Yeah.
You're glad you have it when you do need to use it.
Right.
But let's
But writing that monthly check, or if you do it annually.
let's talk about car insurance. So I had some of these guys that, you talk to them and say, oh, what's going on with your car today? And they're like, well, I got a bid from so-and-so and I got the estimate. I've already got this check from the insurance company, so I'm going to wait to make these repairs. And I'm like, maybe you shouldn't tell me any more details of the situation. But it seemed like having the wreck and collecting the insurance.
Oh, so you mean kind of like gaming the system or something?
Or committing insurance fraud. I'm sure it was all on
These
the
are
up and up.
fictitious friends.
No, I can picture a couple of these conversations. I'm like, I rarely, I have 2 kids, so we've owned a lot of cars throughout the years, and we've dealt with a lot of fender benders, and I very rarely felt. I was always glad I had the insurance.
Absolutely.
When you've got to go to work and you've got that car, that rental reimbursement,
Yep.
replacement, that kind of thing, and you need a rental car for 30 days, boy, then I'm glad to.
Absolutely.
But when I'm making that payment,
Not so much.
and I don't think, oh, you know what, I'm going to go out and maybe drive a little recklessly the next 6 months because
I have insurance.
So I do think that car insurance, plus it just seems so expensive.
Absolutely.
And I don't know if the fat cats are just getting fatter, or if that's just the way the demographics worked out and the people covering the underinsured and that sort of thing are having to pick up the slack.
Right.
Anyway, I hate paying for my car insurance. Man, I'm glad I have, plus you pretty much have to have, you do have to have it in Texas.
Yeah.
But when I do have a situation, we lived in Austin, and I'm driving along the river, and on the left is the river.
Right.
So
Correct.
so no reason that anybody would stop. I'm in the left lane, and there's no reason anybody should stop because there's nowhere to go except the river. Some very attractive joggers were walking by, and I'm pretty sure they're smiling at me. They smiled at me, and so I turned my head, and I think, okay, there's, everybody else is going to keep cruising. Well, the jackwagon in front of me decided he'd give them a, hey, girls.
Hey, baby.
I'll be back to pick you up later. He was Mr. Microphone in them. On First Street in Austin. Kaboom! I had an Audi 5000 when this happened. I'm really dating myself here. I'm like, anyway, guy about my age, mid-20s, gets out. He looks like he hits the gym pretty often. And he kind of like looks around. We exchange insurance. He goes, oh man, he did the old my neck hurts and my insurance guy. We actually beat him back from about 89,000 to 20,000. Something stupid, but
Yeah.
I I was glad I had the insurance. Now, unfortunately, so was that guy. But
absolutely.
So insurance does serve a purpose.
Absolutely.
If you need to rubberneck some people.
Yeah, and you didn't know that day you were going to have a fender bender, but
the day before I may have very well
right.
complained about mailing that check.
Yeah, but I don't think we've ever been more grateful to have insurance than when we had our house fire.
Well, just talk about when you don't want to use.
Yeah, but having home insurance, it was just a regular Friday afternoon, and so that ever since 2017, I have really worked to reframe that, because that's the whole point of insurance. You don't ever know when whatever fill in the blank is going to happen, but that's when you're really grateful that you do have it.
And home insurance is, it's expensive, but it's usually drafted through your mortgage payment or that something, so you maybe don't think about it as much.
Yeah.
But and they're cracking down on it too. There used to be some of those people kind of did like I was talking about with the car insurance.
Yeah. Try to kind of game the system.
Well, that somehow get 2 or 3 roofs out, or they make money on.
Right.
Texas has cracked down about that on that. I don't know about other states, and but some of these companies will just pull out of a state.
Yeah.
So sometimes they don't like it either.
Yeah.
But yeah, we basically had our house totaled, and because we had the insurance, we slept in a nice place the next night.
Right.
They gave us a check and said, here.
Right. The next 10 months.
Well, I know, but the next night,
right.
we had a place, and we had money in our hands.
Right. And they gave us money to say,
they said, go to Academy and buy some jeans and T-shirts or Walmart. And I had a wardrobe that was based from Walmart for about 3 weeks. While I dry cleaned the living life out of every piece of clothing I owned. But
de-smoked everything.
But it gave us options, and it gave us choices.
Right.
And it kept us from being devastated by some bad wiring and an old attic fan. So
reframing it. That insurance is a good thing.
Yeah, and we've been up here through some storms recently, and there may be a situation where in the next 6 months we're going to need
a new roof
to tap into that house insurance again.
Yeah.
That's going to be one where I don't want to tap into it, because we are going to have to pay the deductible, and
right.
the house, that can be pretty high. But man, I'm glad we've got that insurance.
Right. But it can be a benefit. It is a benefit.
It is definitely a benefit.
If you learn how to.
And it's kind of obvious to say, oh, I hate my insurance, except when I need to use it.
Right.
But sometimes, we need to be aware of these biases that we have going into situations. What do you think the one that people don't want to use the most? I don't know if I said that correctly.
You mean like car, health,
They want to use the least.
Okay.
Actually collect on.
I would think life insurance, because that means someone in their life has died.
I'd be, and I don't have any stats on this, so I'm just talking.
Did I guess correctly?
From experience? Well, I don't know. I mean, do you think that it would be? I hate the thought of dying and my life insurance kicking in, but I hate the thought of dying a lot less because of that insurance.
Right.
I don't want my kids to get it until their grandkids can say, oh, where's
Yeah.
I don't want to get morbid here, but
it's something you have to think about.
There's
a reason they say the only 2 things certain are death and taxes. We're all gonna die.
But we can make certain that your death benefit doesn't have taxes.
That's true.
I hadn't thought about that.
That's true.
But I'm curious. I wonder if long-term care insurance is not one.
Maybe.
Because I think that a lot of people probably have a fear of some sort of a nursing home.
Yeah.
And you say, oh well, if they didn't have some fear of nursing homes, there wouldn't be so many euphemisms.
Right.
For assisted living facility or extended care facility, whatever.
Absolutely.
And I do want to say that we have dealt with it. Sunday, we took my father to brunch, and he talked about how the fact that my mother has been in a facility for 5 years.
Right.
Do the math on that. If you think that is not something that requires extensive financial planning, and that, it hits a little close to home, because the reason that we found out that my mother was suffering from cognitive decline is because she failed a long-term care insurance application.
Right.
They got on the phone and they asked you some questions. Some of them were memory tests. Some, I don't want to scare anybody off. but it was because of that we realized that she was having some memory issues. And once that once that toothpaste is out of that tube,
Yeah.
And it was hard for me because I had sat down with them. We put together a plan a few years before that.
And they didn't want anything.
Well, and I'm saying, and it was hard for me because I'm like, okay, I have some biases going into this because they're my parents.
Right.
And am I being clouded in my judgment when I present this? And we actually had a plan where the bank was going to, it would have been beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean,
hindsight is 2020.
well, it would probably be over $500,000
Yeah.
that at least.
Right.
So long-term care insurance. Now, one thing I do want to point out is when you talked about life insurance, there are ways to benefit without dying. There are living benefits to a well-structured life insurance plan, and one of those benefits is long-term care benefits. And so it depends. I don't want to get into too much detail because it varies from case to case and from company to company exactly what that looks like. But if you think, oh, well, I don't qualify for long-term care insurance, and I looked at it in the past, it was prohibitively expensive. Make sure that you have educated yourself on some of the new options available, whether it be a life insurance retirement plan that is put in place to keep you from the stock market volatility and keep you from rising taxes and inflation, but also has this benefit should you need it that 3 years from now, if you do have a chronic illness event or something that impacts your activities of daily living, you can access that bucket that most of us have always just assumed you have to kick the bucket to get this bucket of money.
So you're talking about being able to take a life insurance policy and use it as an investment vehicle, correct?
Well, yes, and
then if you need to, you can borrow against it like a bank.
Well, you can borrow against it like a bank, but you also have usually when we do it, we are using it like an investment vehicle. We are using it to set up a bucket to provide tax-free income in retirement. If you don't know what we're talking about, please watch our Masterclass and educate yourself.
On retiring tax-free.
Take Uncle Sam out of your retirement. Do not hate insurance. We didn't even talk about health insurance.
But it's,
I think that is one of the biggest inhibitors to entrepreneurial growth in this country in the past 20 years. When you have a country where people are thinking, oh, I want to go start this business. Oh, but I took the $62,000 a year job at XYZ.com because I needed the health insurance.
Right.
That is sad.
Yeah.
That puts us... Anyway, I don't want to get on the soapbox there. I'm sure a lot of you are thinking the same way. So, because you seem smart to me.
Right.
Anyway.
Right. So sign up for our master class. It's very educational.
Subscribe to our
How
channel.
to retire tax-free. Send us a love letter.
Comment. Ask questions. Tell us what kind of insurance you hate the most.
Yeah, definitely.
Let us know if you have thoughts on whether long-term care or life.
Yeah.
Anyway, have a great week.